Yeah, 6th grade used to
Yeah.
I told him I'm very jealous.
So they used to do
Place to be, it's not-
junior high, then high school.
Yeah.
So.
Guys all right?
So
Let's begin.
the person could pick.
That was your cue, Dion.
Gavel to gavel.
All right. Welcome everybody to our work session tonight. First up, we have Art Dino. He's from the organization ACPD to speak on substance abuse in this area.
Yeah, she's.
I have been talking with Art a couple times off and on for the last several months. He's a good friend of Annie Bach, and Annie turned me on to Art, and I'd like for you all to hear some of the story that he's got to tell about drug use and the down effects in our neighborhood. So Art, if you would, floor is all yours. Welcome to the work session. So there's really no questions or anything. That's just anybody here can talk to you and you can talk. It's a presentation.
My name is, first and foremost, thank you, Mayor, for having me, and I appreciate you reaching out and asking me to come tonight and speak. That means a lot to us. Never in a million years I thought I'd be in front of City Hall, or much less doing what I'm doing, and losing a child to this disease. This is why we do what we do. ACPD is my son's initials, Austin Christopher Paul Dino, who lost his battle in 2016 at the age of 19 years old. We lived in the Lindbergh School District at that time. Lindbergh didn't think they had a problem, just like everybody else did. Austin had 21 friends he hung around with. All 21 are gone today, to this date. So we tried everything to help him. I didn't know anything about this. Never done a drug in my life. I don't smoke, I don't drink. My wife, same thing. My other two kids. Austin started at 13 years old, getting ready to go to a dance, wanted to take this girl. The mom of the young lady was having pill parties for the high school kids. So that's how he got started. Yeah, it's something out of a Lifetime movie. And so when I found this out, Austin said, "Dad, you don't understand." I said, "Help me understand." That's when I started educating myself, going to seminars, reading, talking to neurologists, doctors, you name it. And I knew my son had a problem. He was powerless to this. We tried everything here in Missouri locally to get him help. Nobody would call us back. Nobody would give us the time of day. No beds, no this, no that. So we fought this disease for 6 years. And I put Austin through a program on my own at my home, along with some other kids at that time. And I could go on and on because we go speak all over the country about this, but I know we don't have time. But Austin got to be about 8 months clean and sober. And he said, "Dad, I want to start up a second chance program." He goes, "I want to get into the high schools and speak, and I want you to find them a place away from Missouri into long-term treatment." So we were in the midst of doing that before we got a knock on the door, June 13th, 2016. It was his old girlfriend. She was high, strung out on heroin when heroin was still around back in the day. And I said, "You can't talk to Austin. You know, you're high, he's clean, can't have nothing to do with him." So Austin heard us talking. He went downstairs and he said, "Dad, let me talk to her. She needs help. This is what we're starting this program up for." Gets my better judgment, I let him go outside and talk. And he came back in 20 minutes later and said, "Dad, I can't help her. She's strung out on heroin. She wanted $1,500 to pay her dealer." And I said, "Praise the Lord." The next morning, I got up to go to work. And as a parent, you just know in your heart, you know, something's wrong. Something's not right. But I said his mother will check up on him. And all morning long at work, I was just in a bad spot. And I just had these bad feelings. It was 11:15. I got the call from my daughter saying, "Come home. Austin's not breathing." We called 911. And I got home, and it was something out of a movie. The whole house was surrounded. I walked in the house. I said, "Where's he at?" They said, "Downstairs." So I got down there. Paramedics were working on him, and I got on my hands and knees, and I prayed next to him. And I went back upstairs. And I'll never forget it. There's a clock at the end of our hallway. Paramedics came up, and it was 11:59. They said, "Sir, I'm sorry, we tried everything, but he didn't make it." And it was like my whole world stopped. I had my mother-in-law in one arm, my wife in the other. They both collapsed. I could hear, but everything was in slow motion. And about 40 minutes later, the old girlfriend came walking up from the basement. And I didn't know this at the time. And it took 8 police officers to hold me back because I said she killed him. There's no doubt in my mind. But at that point, she didn't do it. It was Austin's choice to let her in the house. To this day, there's still no closure on that because we don't know what happened. We got all kinds of reports, still an open investigation. We believe she put fentanyl in his drink. She couldn't have him. She didn't want anybody else to have him. There was text messages, this and that. She was listening to him gurgle, checking his heart rate until he passed. And so I sat in a chair for 30 days. I was mad, numb, angry, upset. And on July 15th, 2016, God just spoke to my heart and said, get up, there's work to be done. And I did. Got up, started making phone calls where him and I left off. August 3rd, we started ACPD, which are his initials, and we are a 501c3 non-for-profit organization. And August 16th, 60 days later after he passed, we sent the first girl out for long-term treatment in Louisiana. To this day, she's still doing good. She got her kids back. She's a nurse in Florida and doing well. And I said, thank you, Jesus, I'm done. I just wanted to help one. Well, God had other plans. To this day, we've sent out a little over 6,000 people
Oh, my.
in recovery. And we have an 81% success rate, which is unheard of. The national percentage rate is about 20% that make it. In the state of Missouri, we have a 5% success rate here. 5%. Missouri is probably the worst state for this. I'm all over the country, traveling, speaking, and it's sad that we don't have the resources and the people here. Every day, my phone starts ringing at 4:15 in the morning, and it stops about 1 o'clock, 7 days a week. I get 40 overdose calls a week where we lose 1 to 5 every week. That's just my organization. 30 days ago, my neighbor's grandson overdosed in his house right over here on Greer Drive in Arnold. We all think we don't have a problem, but there is a problem right in our own community here. I lived in the Lindbergh School District, went to Lindbergh. God laid it on my heart about Jefferson County years ago because there's no resources out here. You got Compass, you got Sauna Lake, a treatment center in Ditmer, and we opened up the first sober living transitional house in Jefferson County in Festus 4 years ago, where we house men that are coming back from treatment or that need to get off the streets that have clean time. I don't understand why the resources aren't here in Jefferson County, but we have a problem here. Right before I came here, 2 overdoses in Arnold. They're at Mercy South. Both of them made it. I'll be leaving here to go there to see if we can get them out to treatment. We deal with, I'm in the jails. I'm in the courts. I was just in city court and got 2 people out, 1 left today for treatment. The judges are working with us. The prosecutors are working with us. Jefferson County, the judges have me on speed dial out there in Hillsborough. They're constantly calling me saying, hey, we got somebody that would fit your program. Can you come down and speak to them? 92%, I would say, and Chief could probably agree to this, any kind of crime out there is usually drug or alcohol related. And it breaks my heart to see families having to go through what we go through every single day. And we are not state funded. We are not federally funded. We get very, very little donations. We have some fundraisers throughout the year. But the 44 centers that we use, I have been to every center that we use. I know the owners all the way down to Tex. I would never send your loved one nowhere I wouldn't send my own. We have raised, not dollar-wise, but what it costs to go to treatment, over $28 million in scholarships. We fight very hard for every life that God puts in our path. And I will continue to fight for every life that God puts in my path until the day the good Lord calls me home, not just to honor my son, but every family out there that's going through. It's a ripple effect. It's a family disease. And what I mean by that, it affects everybody in that family. So many people right here in Arnold that know our organization reach out to us, if not daily, weekly, monthly. What can we do? My son or my daughter or my wife or my husband, we need help. I'm one person. I can only do so much. I wish there was 10 of me, but I can only be in one place at one time. But we deal with the DFS for trying to get the kids back. We deal with probation and parole. We deal with all the mercies, SSM Health. So I'm in these hospitals, detox centers, behavioral health units, emergency rooms. I'm mentally exhausted by the end of every day because it's just me. When people hear ACPD, how many people you got working for you? You're looking at them. So we try our best to help anybody that God puts in their path, but we need help from the community. I would love to open up some kind of program here in Arnold. We need it. We need it. I don't care if it's a transitional home. My goal is to open up a treatment center, a long-term treatment center, whether that be here or somewhere in Jefferson County. We're in the midst of trying to do that. We just got to find a property. So we got a lot of irons in the fire, but at the end of the day, we're going to continue to help. And if it's just one at a time, that's what we're going to do. But this is the #1 leading cause of death in the United States, ages 18 to 30, 45. Every 5 minutes, somebody passes away from this. I've seen so many families just torn apart from this disease. It's not getting better. There's enough fentanyl in the United States to kill everybody 7 times over. Now you got xylazine on the street and you got nitazene on the street. This has been the worst summer and fall that our organization has had in 10 years because of the new drugs that hit the street. Since June, we've lost 55 people that we've been working with trying to get help, and we've had 157 overdoses. That's just us. And most of them are in the Jefferson County area. And a lot of them don't get reported. They go unnoticed because they don't want to report it. But we're the ones getting the calls. And we just got to do a better job. We do a lot with First Baptist Church at Arnold. We've sent plenty of people out from their church that are struggling. And we're up there a lot. So we have spoke at the Rotary Club years ago, and it just seems like the ball just kind of dropped from there. So we just, we're here to let everybody know that we have a problem in our community, and we just need some help. We need some support, whatever everybody can do to help in this fight. I always say strength in numbers. And I think we just got to do a better job. The youth of our country is being wiped out. We speak in a lot of different schools, and 87% of all high school kids are using a mind-altering substance. When I ask the teachers to leave the room and I ask the kids questions, the one that gets me the most is when I ask them to raise their hand, how many of them have witnessed an overdose? And about 60% of them. We shouldn't have one child witness an overdose. We shouldn't have one child dealing with a parent on drugs or alcohol. And it breaks my heart. Suicide rate is up 60%. The numbers are up. It's not getting any better. I mean, you can order this stuff right off the internet and have it delivered to your door. So I don't know, but I'm going to continue to fight. But we got to come together. If it was any other disease, we wouldn't be here talking about it. It's the stigma of substance use. It's the stigma of that word addiction, where they think they can beat this on their own. They can't. They're powerless to it. The first time they use is a choice, but the brain takes over, and that's where people need to educate themselves. It takes 18 months, clinically, medically proven, for the brain to heal to ever make a right choice again. So this is why it also repeats itself when they relapse. This is why we get them away to long-term centers. And when I mean long-term, The shortest program we have is 4 months up to 2 years. That's why we have an 81% success rate. And we just don't send your loved one out and forget about you. We stay with them every step of the way for aftercare. They're part of our family, what we tell them. We love them. They're part of our family. We're going to be with them every step of the way. And so that's what we do. And our mission is simple. We honor one, we fight for many. But now we honor everyone and fight for everyone that's dealing with this. And I could go on, and I know time is limited, but we have a problem right here in our own community. And I don't think, if you haven't been, you got to be living under a rock to not know someone who hasn't been affected by this. But if you haven't been affected by you, praise God. But if you know someone, this cycle is going to continue to repeat itself. And one of two things happen. You either recover or you don't. There is no in between. You're either going to recover or you're going to die. The lucky ones get locked up. That's what we hope for when they do get locked up. Keep them there long enough to where we can find them a place and the courts allow us to work with them and then send them out from there. So we're going to continue to do our job, and we're just wanted to let everybody know this is a big problem right here in our own backyard. So if anybody's got any questions or, yes, sir.
First of all, God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Secondly, I've been affected 2 different scenarios in the past. What triggered me this evening, your program, that you have an 81% success rate.
Mhm.
Obviously, whatever your organization and group is doing and helping, how and what is different than all the other places where we're failing? Like, you're having success, that the true success is finding all the people to get through there, and
Right.
obviously financially, but what are you guys doing that is driving this significant success rate over something 5%?
Well, here's the funny thing about it. Most of these centers around here, they want you to fail. They want you to keep coming back. It's $1 billion business.
You answered my question.
And the strong are preying on the weak. I don't have a problem saying it. A lot of people don't want to say it. It's not about the money for me. It's about saving lives.
Understand?
And it's the people, the staff that make a difference in the centers. The AMA rate here in Missouri, which AMA is leaving against medical advice, a program, walking out that door,
Yep.
is about 65%. When they get into a program, they walk out of here. People, places, and things have to change. When they're 800, 1,000 miles away, it's a little harder for them to walk out a door and leave. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. But they want you to fail. And that's the sad part about it. I tell these kids when I see them, it's not that I don't want to see you again. I don't want to see you back in my office, which we have an office right over in South County. I don't want to see you back in here for that reason. We want them to go and get it on the first shot and be gone. But recovery is not a sprint, it's a marathon. That's why these 30-day programs don't work. They're just getting the cobwebs out of their head in 30 days. It's impossible to get clean and sober in 30 days. And it's impossible for someone to do it on their own. I have been all over this country, spoke to millions of people. I've yet to find one who can do it on their own. And I'm not challenging them, but I know this disease. And the brain is where the disease is. The brain does not sleep, and the brain can't heal, but it takes time. And that's where the education comes into.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
First of all, I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you, sir.
I can't even imagine losing a child. The state, have you gone to the state at all? The state government?
Oh,
For assistance for,
listen, we have tried everything. I've talked from everywhere from the top to the bottom. And here's what I do. Since I'm one person, right? I don't have people to pay to do things. I'm in the trenches every day. My main goal is when my phone rings, I'm at the hospital, at the emergency center, whatever, and I'm trying to find that person help. I wish I had people that could help me fight this along that path, but we have tried that in the past. And it's like an act of Congress almost to try to do something like that. And it takes a lot of time, which in this industry, you don't have time. Every minute counts. And we have to be out there to help them when the phone rings. So,
You're just one person, like you said. You need some help. Not a doubt in my mind, you need help.
exactly, exactly. So, and we don't have the funds to pay anybody. We get volunteers, but they don't stick around long because they got lives. I'm grateful for 5 minutes, 5 days, you know, anytime that somebody could give us to help. Somebody can make phone calls for us, if somebody can try to write some grants for us, whatever they can do, because the financial part is a big part of it, where you got to have that funding to be able to go out and help. I wish I had $1 million. I can clean up half St. Louis, because we get people in to help for as little as $500. The max is probably 5,000. And that's for long-term help. And if anybody doesn't know the price of treatment, it could be around here in St. Louis, it's about $15,000 to $25,000 a month. We don't use programs like that, because most of our calls are the indigent, the homeless, the ones who have no money or nothing. So we have these programs set up where the owners love what we do. They know our heart's in it for the right reason. So we can get them into programs for a little bit of money or nothing. And then we try to raise that through our people that follow our page. And we ask for donations and this and that. And most of the time it comes through and they help out. So, and that's the only way we can do it right now. And it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
So, but we're not going to give up. We're going to keep fighting.
Thank you. Guys, I heard part of Art's story before, and that's why I invited him to come here to see all of you. Because I knew nothing about any of this, and it is in our backyard.
I don't have kids in school anymore, not yet. I mean, got grandkid, but he's only 5, so yeah, I had no idea that was going. I'm sure Chief does, but
Yeah, I've got a 12-year-old and I think about this very frequently, but Art, you're right. We do have a serious problem and we need to do a better job.
Yes, sir. And the youngest girl we sent out was 15. She was being sex trafficked over here on Route 3. This was about 5 years ago, and left for dead on the side of the highway. And mom called us. We went over there at 3 o'clock in the morning. We got her into a long-term program for adolescents in Miami. And to this day, she's doing good. They moved out of town, unfortunately, to Louisiana. She's in LSU University. She's thriving right now. I think she's 20, 21, going on 21. So she's doing well. And the oldest one we sent out is 68. So it doesn't discriminate on age, sex. If you got money, it doesn't matter. The youngest is 15 and the oldest is 68, and everywhere in between. And we've sent out dentists, lawyers, doctors, TV newscasters, you name it, we have sent out for treatment. It does not discriminate. So when we get the call, we just do the best we can to help them. But losing a child, it's not the way it's supposed to go. My wife still cries herself to sleep 4 nights a week. We're at the holiday season. There's always something that's going on. And the grieving never gets easier. So, but this helps me because I can hear Austin, Dad, one more, don't stop, don't stop. And I will keep honoring him and fighting for many. So, but we're going to keep doing it.
Thank you.
But we'd love to get something started up here in Arnold. I don't know if you guys have any.
Can you tell us what they did in Festus?
What we did is we have a men's house down there. We call it a transitional. It's called ATL, Austin's Transitional Living. And what we do is when guys come back from treatment and they need aftercare, or even local, and they go to a treatment here, they don't have to go to one of our centers. As long as they meet the criteria, they got to be 30 days clean and sober, and they got to have the willingness after they're assessed by me, and then we let them in. And what we do in our program is there's a regiment set up. They got to go to 5 meetings a week. They have Bible study on Thursday night, big book on Wednesday night. We have 1 day of community service in the community down there, whether it's picking up trash, whatever. They go to church on Sunday. They got to hold down a 40 an hour a week job. They got to keep the house clean. There's a dog in the house. They got to take care of the dog. So it's about responsibility, accountability, obeying authority, discipline, guidance, and structure. And most of the time they come to us, they're with us for about another year. And then we help them find a place to transition back out into the community, whether it be an apartment, a condo, whatever. And to where that's the whole goal, is to transition to be able to be self-sustainable and take care of yourself. And we've had a good success down there too, right now. So
What did it take to get that started though down there? Who helped with that?
the beautiful thing about that was the lady who we helped her grandson. She had a house down there that was vacant and it was sitting there doing nothing. And she reached out to me one day and she goes, "You're more than welcome to use this house. We just got to fix it up and do what you need to do. I'm trusting you to run it." And so I said, okay. Well, I went down and looked at it. It was perfect where it was located, set up. And of course, the neighbors complained about it at first, not my backyard, but now they're glad we're there. What most people don't understand, when people out there are using, that's when they're doing all the stealing, the robbing. But when they're in recovery, they're there to give back to the community. And now the community loves that we're there because we're always doing something to help and give back. And like I said, most of the time when the guys come in, they're with me for about a year, and then we're helping them find a place out into the community. So if there's property around here, we can try to get in somewhere that's good and everybody's in agreement. I would love to do something like that in Arnold. Love it, because we need more of it. We need to give these men and women an opportunity to get their lives back. It's not them, it's the drugs that have control over them. They're powerless to it. Most of them all have the biggest hearts, but their brain is hijacked from this disease. It's not them, it's the drugs. So if you all talk after I leave and come up with anything, I'd be more than happy to do whatever I can and put my input there. But I would love to start something up here in the community or get involved, even with the first responders, Chief. Whatever we can do to help you guys, or if you guys come across, which I'm sure you do, you can have them reach out to us for help, and we'll be more than happy to help them.
That's great. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna give you I'm gonna leave my cards with you guys too, just in case.
I know I help a lot out at Camp Hope. You ever heard of an organization called Camp Hope?
Yes.
Well, his son, the Marine Corps, when he got killed over in Iraq, and 80 acres of land, he started Camp Hope.
Oh, really?
And it's really a big organization. And he helps all the wounded warriors that came back from the war. And I don't know how he got all the money he got, but it's top of the line facility. I know the VFW at Arnold helps a lot. They help him a lot. But donation.
What's sad is like the Cedar Elks Club helps us, right? They give us some donations when they have their fundraisers. But it's like the Elks Club in Festus, one of the biggest charters. I don't get it. They don't want to help us. So it's not a big deal. We'll just go on and we'll continue to fight. But I don't understand it. It's the #1 leading cause of death in the United States. It's terrorizing our community. You think everybody want to get involved to give back and help fight this. But yeah, I mean, I would love to have somebody say, "Hey, I got a bunch of land. What can we do with this?" And build something. I always say, I wish I had an island. We could fly them in the Pacific or something, drop them off out there and just leave them there till they're healthy and they can't get off of it. But we got to do something. We just got to do a better job, I think.
Can you give one of those to Tony, please? He's from the Arnold Imperial Leader Pubs.
So yeah, whatever we can do, we're here to help and serve the community of Arnold along with Jefferson County and the greater surrounding area. So any other questions? I'll let you guys, I've taken probably enough of your time up.
Thank you.
Mayor. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
Once again, if I can help in any way.
I'll be in touch.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You too.
Thanks.
I thought it important that you guys hear some of this too.
No, I'm glad you did.
Okay. Tammy, item number 2.
Caterpillar purchase for the Parks Department.
David.
Dick Davidson,
Hawaii.
he's in Hawaii, so, yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
guys
Yes,
give
we're all
these people
very
their
jealous.
Deserved.
We're all very jealous.
He's.
I,
For him.
Yeah, we're happy for him, but we're jealous still.
Yeah.
But, basically we've got our existing Caterpillar, which is also a Bobcat or a skid steer. Everyone's seen the park department. We use it nearly on a weekly basis. We bought it used in 2011 for $35,000. It's past its useful life. We've tried to make repairs over the years. Apparently it's been on the wish list for a couple of years. They keep putting Band-Aids on it. Our current repairs right now, are about $49,000. And the new ones, like we said, about $92,584. So it does not make sense at this point. So we're gonna sell it off for parts. Hydraulic hoses we're going out. The problem is the drive unit of this item is basically shot, as well as there's problems with the fuel tank. So if we're wondering why it's not just parts, it's a lot of labor. So we're gonna probably need to do a mid-year budget adjustment, but we do need to get this thing replaced as soon as possible. And we looked at used, and we looked at other items. It's on a joint purchase cooperative. You've probably bought stuff off Sourcewell before. There's several of them. We're gonna use a Fabricat, and that we've got a lot of the accessories to that right now, which is why we chose that. We've had good luck with that, and our mechanics have worked with this particular brand before. So we're just looking to make sure there's no questions on that. This will be something we're gonna be putting on the agenda coming up.
So brand new,
Brand new,
what kind of warranty are we getting with?
5-year warranty.
5-year.
In the budget?
It was not in the budget. That's why we're
Yeah.
gonna mid-year budget adjustment.
But we would, I'm sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, finish.
We've already got about 5,800 in the repairs too,
Current.
because which we will get
Another
reimbursed for.
40, but there's another 40,000-ish that would be
49.
needed to get it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Got it.
total.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense. We looked at some used as well. Right now, it's difficult to find something. We figured go new, and we get the 5-year warranty on it.
You guys have any questions?
No,
Thank you.
No, we definitely need it.
Very well. Cell towers?
Cell towers on city property.
Yeah, and we've got Billy Patterson on Zoom to do a presentation from Arcadia Towers.
Hey, how are you all doing this evening?
Hello, Billy.
I appreciate you having us in virtually, not being there in person, but we have done work out that way and looking to continue to grow it. So I'm going to try to share my screen here actually with the presentation. I don't know if I have the authority to do that.
Dion, can you fix that?
Or actually, I think I can get it here.
It's coming.
Okay, can you guys see that presentation here?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Sorry, just trying to get this set up here on my end.
Yeah. Are you able to go put that full screen?
Yeah, I can put it to full screen mode here. Can you see that there?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. Well, yeah, so just real quickly, when we first reached out, we were actually under the Arcadia name. So actually just in the past like 6 weeks, have gone through an M&A transaction. And so now under Verda, but both companies were under the same private equity firm. And I'll talk about, our capitalization and how that allows us to do holistic cell tower projects for cities on a large scale all across the country. But my name is Billy Patterson. I am responsible for business development at Verda. I'm originally from Iowa. My parents are retired in Missouri. I spend quite a bit of time that way. I am based physically in Columbus, Ohio, but we're making a push west along I-70 through like Dayton, Indianapolis, St. Louis, up to Kansas City, up to my hometown area of like Des Moines, and certainly see this as a great opportunity. But what are we? We are a tower development company. So we do stuff nationwide. We've done hundreds of tower sites. So Sam Johnston, one of the partners, has been in this business his entire career. One of the other partners, John Rolander, was actually the former head of public finance at Fifth Third, a large regional bank here in Ohio. That's my connection to the firm. I actually don't have a technical background in the cell tower space. I'm a finance person, but we worked there in public finance with cities and schools. So we're trying to bring our expertise of working with cities and schools to the cell tower space with really a unique approach of building out cell towers for cities in a no cost, no risk proposition. So what is it that we're looking to do? It's really quick. It's just a very small piece of land that you look to lease to us for each individual cell tower. All we need is about a 50-foot by 50-foot base area of land. We will ground lease that from you. We will cover 100% of the cost of building a tower. And then we are going to lease space on that tower to wireless carriers, and we're going to share that lease revenue with you at the district. So it's no additional land acquisition or disposition or anything on your end. It's land that you already own that is not being utilized that we're going to turn into an opportunity to generate a nice cash flow for the city. So these next couple slides just kind of very generally why a need for cell towers, obviously in an ever-growing digital age, more and more usage, making sure that for a city, you know, there are certainly aspects not only amongst city staffers and emergency responders, but even just day to day, the signal of a cell tower. Yes, the tower will be on city property, but it's going to propagate where it's going to allow your community members to have an optimal signal, and making sure that the increased usage is covered is what we're looking to do in building out holistic networks across the entire city. So this next slide here is something that we actually do focus on, though, is the public safety enhancement aspect of a holistic tower project. So knock on wood that they don't happen, but in emergency type situations, making sure that there is adequate cell coverage so that your emergency and first responders do have the ability to communicate to the best of their ability, and making sure that there is the ability, you know, be it coming from a building or amongst potentially vehicles or whatever the case may be, that those calls can go in and out. And one thing that we do as an independent tower company that's not tied to any one wireless carrier is we are able to reserve space on our towers for any city-owned communications equipment. So if you guys do have any of the radio type communications equipment or anything that you want to put on our towers, you are welcome to do that free of charge. How do we go about identifying opportunities? That's really kind of what this slide is getting at. So this looks like kind of a very simple rudimentary screenshot here on the right. There's actually a lot going on in the background. So you see inside this circle here, we have these different colors. In an ideal situation where we see all these colors, everything would be like a bright glowing green. And if that was the case, that would be indicative of coverage that meets a level that is standard of the carriers. When we start seeing stuff that trends away from green, yellow, orange, pink, red, that's getting into really suboptimal coverage. You can see here in this screenshot. So this is an aggregation of basically signal strength historically. You can see here, and you guys on the ground there day-to-day basis may be able to attest to it. But we see that there are signal issues, and this is the type of analysis that we do. So we don't just blanket reach out to every city across the country. We have targeted areas in which we're looking to build towers. And then we run an analysis of city properties based on public record searches to identify where there may be opportunities based on suboptimal current signal strength. So we do that. We develop a cell IQ score. So yes, it is about the technology in terms of that signal like we're seeing, but these other items you see on the left-hand side of the screen are all things that we are taking into consideration. And I have a PDF map I can share as well. In initial conversations we had with you all, obviously being along the river, some of the stuff with a flood zone and that sort of thing, also taken into consideration, and can talk more about that. But even with that, this is the cell IQ score that we've developed. There's definitely an opportunity based on our scoring of multiple city properties to be viable candidates on which cell towers could be built. So what have we done so far? Like I said, what we do is we go to a public record search. We take a look at publicly owned under the city's name sites that you all have. A lot of those may just be very small, like rights of way, not actually like parcels that could hold a tower. So we then narrow that down to what we call a viable site. And that is something where, a tower could potentially be built. and there is potentially a need based on that signal strength and would fall within one of those circle diameters where it could be viable. The reason that number then gets whittled down is because of proximity. So there's not value to the carriers in being on towers that are, adjacent to one another, very close apart or very close together. What we typically try to do is get towers about a mile apart at least. But even based on that, in our analysis of Arnold at this time, we view it as 5 potential tower sites across the city. That is just based on what we've pulled. There's a lot of times when we work with cities when we don't pick up all of the property zone in an initial run, or there may be quasi ownership under maybe like an economic development corporation or something like that. And if there are additional properties, we're certainly happy to run a further analysis on all those to make sure that the entire city has been opportunity scoped and can see what that actually could potentially look like. So 5 tower sites, what does that mean in terms of the economic impact to the city? This is a single tower here on this slide. We're going to see on the next slide the aggregation of if it were to be 5 towers. But just to show how the mechanics of a single tower works, this slide's a really good representation here. A couple things that I'll point out. We see tenant 1 and tenant 2 here in the upper left. Those tenants are the wireless carriers. So they are a tenant to us on the tower. They pay a monthly rent. We share 30% of that revenue with you all at the city. And you can see in the first year, it translates to not quite $15,000. These are the 30-year lease terms with escalators built in. And with that, you can see how a single tower can generate close to $600,000 for the city. One other thing I'll point out on that is that we only have the 2 tenants modeled up here. These towers can actually hold up to 4 tenants. From a starting point, we just like to model it up on the conservative side at a 50% capacity. But a single tower at 100% capacity would generate double this number at those rent levels. So you're starting to look at, $1.1 to $1.2 million from a single tower. Truly an infinite ROI. There would be 0 cost upfront or along the way from the city. So really just a way to generate mailbox income over time. That's if you want to take the stream of payments. In the bottom half of this slide, we have our other 2 options. We do, as I mentioned, that private equity raise. We raised $50 million in 2021. It was the largest private equity raise in Cincinnati where we're based. That allows us to have a strong balance sheet. And we do actually offer a prepayment of rent if you were to want a lump sum up front. So even based just on the 50% capacity, you could see here if you took for example, the 10-year option, you'd get that $94,000 up front. You would get no regular rent for 10 years. But after 10 years, the regular rent would resume. So just a few different structures we offer if for whatever reason you have a preference on how that cash flow would come to the city. But that's really how the economics work and the revenue share model works. We like that revenue share model. It fully aligns our incentives and makes it so that we're all on the same page. This next slide, same thing. All we've done here is apply the number of towers through our analysis of 5 to those numbers from the last slide. And you can see, again, this is just at a 50% capacity being modeled up here, but you're starting to get just under $3 million in total revenue to the city at that 50% capacity at 5 towers across city properties. So those are how the numbers shake out. It's certainly economic benefit, but also improving cell coverage across the city. And like I said, enhancing that safety as well. So this next slide is kind of a summary of how we get to that point of getting a lease in place and getting that revenue to the city. We start out, and the next slide will detail it more, but we have a 2-step process that's designed to be purely beneficial to the city with a full mitigation of any potential risk or commitment that you may have. The first step is entering into what we call a master marketing agreement. That allows us to market the properties to the wireless carriers. There's no commitment on your behalf as a city of entering into an MMA to move forward with the tower project. It simply allows us to go see what the market says in terms of interest from the wireless carriers, and then we would come back to you. That's a 5-year term on that. As I mentioned, it is the 30% revenue share. That's that second item there. And then the 50-year ground lease. The wireless carrier leases are 30 years, as I mentioned, but the ground lease between the city and us is actually 50 years. That's because the wireless carriers want to know that they have room on the backside of their lease for a renewal. and also because all those leases may not start at the same time. So it gives a runway on the backside for all those 30-year leases. And then the last slide here real quick, actually a very important slide, really kind of lays out what the process would look like, but really want to focus on the fact that, like I already mentioned, with that master marketing agreement, there is no commitment or obligation on your behalf of the city to move forward with the tower project. So for example, we could enter into the master marketing agreement. We could begin marketing the properties to the wireless carriers. We could come back to you all, at whatever, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, whenever it is down the road that we have that wireless carrier specific interest. And we could say, T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T want to go on these sites with towers that look like this at these lease terms. And for any or no reason at all, you at that point can still say, no, we don't want to move forward with the tower project. So it's really a no cost, no risk proposition to enter into the master marketing agreement. The hope is that if we do bring back carrier interest, you would want to move forward with the project, but you will have the ability to sign off on each individual site on its own before entering into each of those leases in that site lease agreement for each site. So it's not an all or nothing proposition. If we came back with interest on all 5 sites and you only wanted to move forward with 2 or 3 or 4 of them or whatever the number is, you're certainly welcome to do that as well. So, but once we get into that site lease agreement and that is signed, you are committed to moving forward with the project. We then cover everything else as part of that development process. Obviously, you all at the city control your zoning and have a hand in that. But in terms of anything with diligence and the real estate and getting that ground ready to be developed for the cell tower, that's 100% our responsibility. We do get that ground broken. We build the tower. We get the carriers on board. That's when the money starts flowing. We share that revenue. And like I said, it's just mailbox income for you all at that point. So quick proposition is basically land that you already own, turning into a nice revenue stream and enhancing community safety and improving cell coverage throughout. So we are under a master marketing agreement with Moscow Mills up on kind of northwest side of the city, and continuing to talk to others in the area as well. And like I said, trying to continue to move across 70, and we certainly would welcome the opportunity to work with you all, and happy to answer any questions that you may have.
This is Bill Moritz. You said you got 5 sites picked out in Arnold. Can you show us like a before and after?
Yeah, I
First of all,
actually.
What are those 5 sites and what do those little site maps look like now? I just saw the one, but there were 5.
Yeah, I know.
Yep, I'll show you. I've got a. Show you this right here. All right. So when we had the first conversations, we were still under the Arcadia name. So that's what accounts for this when we initially put this together. And I just do want to point out with this is far from final. So when we say it's those 5 sites, it's not like it has to be those 5 specific sites. There's the 200 some sites that are viable, really any combination of those with proximity. But this is just an example of if we, could come in there and had carte blanche and could do it, this is what it would be. But if for any reason, like these aren't viable on your end or whatever the case may be, there's plenty of sites that, we could potentially take a look at and work in combination to see, what maximum number of sites we get. But if you take a look at this PDF here, basically the sites that have the green and the blue, that signal propagation. So this is actually a secondary map that we ran when we did the first one. We have these all with the green circles showing the propagation. The blue, that key might be a little small for you to read, but the blue ones are ones that are in a flood zone, but still we think potentially viable for a tower to go there. And so you see here, there's 6 of them. We have that number at 5. We try to be conservative. You see some overlap with these circles. So in terms of, distance, whether or not all 6 of these would be viable, maybe not. That's why we listed that 5. But if we get carrier interest, on 6, 7, whatever, we're not trying to, limit the number of towers. We're open to it. But this is what it would look like. So you can see right here, like kind of the lighter gray circles. Those are the propagation kind of radius of an existing structure. And so we're proposing, new structures at these sites that have the green and blue circles around them.
Billy, my hearing is really good, but you know, at 68, my eyesight's not quite as good as it needs to be to read this. Can you send us a copy of this presentation?
Yep, I can send you the presentation and this PDF map.
Thank you.
I don't know if you can see that better now. It's zoomed in a little bit, but
That's Arnold. Hey, Billy, can you either go back to the slide or just share again, one tower at 50% generates X dollars per year? I'm looking for just a
yeah, let me,
14,400.
yep, a single tower at the 50% capacity in that first year. And that was just in the first year because there are annual escalators built in. But yeah, it was 14,400. And that was, again, those exact terms will be presented to you before you enter into the site lease agreement. So even towers within the city, you know, may have slightly different rental rates just based on location and specs of that tower. But generally, we try to do a good estimate based on, you know, everything included. And I can pull that. Let me share it here again. Pull that slide back up. But yeah, that was the number.
That's good. That's close enough. And then just one more question. The 50%, I'm assuming that's a conservative number you're sharing because you're confident with it. What's driving that percentage higher?
Well, the towers can hold up to 4 tenants. So we model it up just as saying there would only be 2 tenants on it. Again, we have no incentive to limit the number of tenants, just for basically, you know, initial expectations. And, you know, we would rather, you know, show you guys something conservative on the front end. As far as why we start with 2 instead of even 1, you know, we can basically kind of break even on a tower if we have a single tenant. But most of the time, we like to have like a line of sight to having a second tenant wireless carrier coming on board that tower. And most of the time, we do get to that second, if not like a third and potentially 4th tenant. You know, right now there's the 3 major national carriers. There's regional stuff. Dish is trying to figure out, you know, exactly what they're trying to do, if they're going to be a serious 4th player or not. But we like 2 as kind of that number to show initially.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any more questions?
Is there anything negative about these antennas? Because they cause any issues to the people that live around the antennas?
Yeah, that question comes up a lot. So we actually have a section on our website with links directly to things related to that, specifically like AMA website, and they have a section on theirs, you know, showing that there's been no, you know, scientific link between cell towers and any health and safety issues. But that's definitely, you know, I mean, I'll be completely honest. We present to city council, school board meetings. That's certainly the question that comes up, and you know, probably the top item of like pushback for sure. But there's nothing, you know, I was going to say everybody, but pretty much everybody has a cell phone these days. You know, and that signal that's coming into your cell phone that you have in your pocket, you know, that's what's coming out of that tower as well.
Stuff a while ago, regulations.
Anybody else? Billy, thank you for your presentation.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
We
you.
need- I know we're gonna have more questions, but Sarah, are you the contact here for this?
Yes, I was going to mention, so as far as next steps goes, of course, we brought this to you at work session so that you all could learn about the opportunity that the city has with this. And I suppose the next step would be if you are all interested in signing on to say that, I believe it was the master marketing agreement, then staff could coordinate with Billy and we could bring that to you all at the next available council meeting. Or whenever is appropriate if you guys would like to have more conversations.
What do you guys think? I mean,
Yeah, well, I've got one other, you know, because a few years back, you know, because this did come up when the cell towers started, you know, proliferating a lot of the areas and stuff. And through planning and zoning, we went quite extensive and added different things to the zoning ordinances. And I know one of the big things came up that we got from the public was the look of the towers. And so at that time, from what I remember, I was trying to go through some of our restrictions here on the E-code site, but that picture that you showed, Billy, is that your standard? Because I know a lot of them, people were happy with the flagpole, you know, because it's less
Yeah.
intrusive. It looks, you know, it blends in. Of course, you know, especially when you're gonna, you know, even though the city property might be city property, but it might be kind of more of a residential instead of industrial or in the park.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, that's kind of some of the feedback we got was, oh, that tower's so ugly. You know?
Yeah. So the
Whether
standard
right, wrong,
tower.
or indifferent, but just wondering if you guys had that style available, or does it have to be the
Yeah,
one like?
no, yeah, we can do stealth applications, and that stuff is and under our process. Like a tower is never going to get built that you're not fully signed off on, and that can include the aesthetics and any sort of stealth stuff that needs to be related to that. So yeah, the standard tower, to answer your question directly, is just a standard kind of monopole. We typically say, you know, 150 feet, give or take 30, depending on, you know, exact kind of site, surrounding structures, all that sort of stuff, topography. But we can definitely do things like that. Like, yeah, like a flagpole. We can do stuff where, you know, you make it look like a clock kind of up at the top around it, like almost like clock tower type thing. It's more out west because of like kind of environmental regulatory type stuff, but it can do stuff that kind of looks like trees, that sort of thing. So yeah, if that's something that's, you know, of your guys's, on your mind and of importance, can certainly work with you. And we truly do try to work with, you know, our cities and schools as true partners. I mean, we've set up that two-step process of there's never going to be anything. That site lease agreement's going to have all those specs, everything about that tower. And if you're not good with it, you guys aren't signing that agreement. We're not doing the project. So we're happy to work with you on that.
When you do a camouflage kind of a tower, does that affect the efficiency or even the efficacy of the tower?
No, but it can impact the economics just a little bit. Those can become, you know, depending on exactly what the measures are on that stealth application and how far you want to go, the cost of doing that can certainly rise, and that can impact the economics of that tower. But in terms of efficacy, no, they're not materially impacted by that.
Very well. Thank you. I'll leave it to Sarah to bring it back to the city
Bill?
council. Oh, sorry, Peggy.
Curious if Allison has anything to add to this. Does she see any problems?
No, I would look at the marketing master plan before we signed it.
Deal.
I mean, the problem I see or like here is like, what does it look like? Are we going to have pushback from the public? How tall is the tower? That's something I was thinking of, but as far as like from a legal perspective, we would just need to have full disclosure as to what your lease agreements say with your tenants and what our obligations are. But I've seen things like this before, and this it's not super dangerous, you know, or odd. So I think we could be comfortable with it. We would just need to take a look at everything before we signed off on it. So.
Yeah, happy to do that. Our site lease agreement is actually an exhibit in the master marketing agreement. So I can send over a master marketing agreement draft. You're going to see it's actually a pretty long document, but it's really only like the first 10 pages or the MMA. All the other stuff's like that site lease agreement, but it'll have all that kind of like standard in there, and happy to, you know, trade red lines or comments, edits on that to get it to a version that you guys are comfortable with and can be workable for both sides.
Yeah, if the council decides they want to move forward with that, Sarah has our contact information, so she can get that information to you and we can certainly take a look at it. I don't foresee it being anything out of the ordinary, but we always got to take a look.
Perfect.
So I suppose what we are looking for from the council is a direction forward. So would you like staff to coordinate with Billy on getting a master marketing agreement kind of settled and bring that to you, or are you guys not interested?
Interested, yes. I mean, you've shown us the carrot, now show us the stew.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, then we will coordinate with Billy and get you guys that agreement. It may not be at the next one, especially if the Sweeneys want to kind of take a look. So it might be sometime in January.
When is the next meeting? We can, I can try to get our team. Well, what's tomorrow? Friday.
I think
just let us know. We can turn it around to you.
I think our next meeting is actually next Thursday. So I think it might end up being in January just because of how the agendas go out.
Okay. Perfect. Well, yeah, I'll get our legal started on it, and I'll follow up with you, Sarah, and go from there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks,
All right.
Bill. All right.
Thank you for allowing me to do this again virtually. I appreciate it. So thank
Yep,
you all.
thank you.
Good evening.
Hey, Sarah.
Have you guys,
Go ahead.
are we offline there?
Yeah.
Streaming by, but he's off.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask it, and maybe it's for more for Dion and Chief. When he was talking about there's dedicated space for usage in that, is that something we would be able to take advantage of or not?
Well, we're talking now about, we've got no coverage for the farmer's market even, or for bigger events down. at
No,
the park.
absolutely. I mean, that's the first thing I noticed. I'm like, oh, that's right in the middle of the farmer's market where our phones don't work. But
Really,
I would-
phones don't work down there?
he mentioned,
Hmm.
he mentioned something about having some dedicated space that could be used for, like the law enforcement.
We're on FirstNet right now, right? Yeah, with AT&T, so we've got priority.
Okay,
So if we've got an event at the school, we can get on our phones and get through with the
Okay.
FirstNet program.
Usually what what he's referencing, my understanding, we have VHF or UHF radios.
yeah,
This department uses.
right.
They would possibly tie that into their larger area, radio towers.
Okay.
So it's all one.
So, I mean, so potential to be helpful in a catastrophic event then. Okay.
You
Thank
guys
you.
interested in a little bit of history? I was on the city council back when the 911 district was putting up towers and they were coming around and there was the NIMBY people, okay?
Mhm.
And there's a tower that's over there on DeClue's property right now because we were not allowed to put it on the Strawberry Creek Nature Preserve. Well, that cell tower has probably paid off Mr. DeClue's property 2 or 3 times by now.
Mhm.
But I always thought that was interesting that, you know, if we had just been able to carve out that little piece over there on that nature preserve, we'd had a long source of revenue for a long time.
Yep.
But it escaped us because we weren't allowed to do that. It's deed restricted. You're not allowed to do anything like that.
Mhm.
Yep.
But it's also interesting that a guy came to us as a presentation. They're wanting to put one of those big flagpole towers down there next to Bay Shore subdivision. I mean, my God, that would have been about 2010 or 11, something like that. It was gonna be one of those big flagpole looking things. And that deal fell through.
And he talked about the ability to do it in the floodplain, and I don't know if
Yes.
any of that pertains to like the park property, but that would be a place that I would think we wouldn't get a ton of like pushback. Nobody really lives there. We can't do anything with it. So it looked like there was potential for
Well,
free.
We own a
free
good,
money.
we own a good chunk of Starling Estates subdivision up there on Conroe that doesn't get wet anymore.
Let's say you're back along the river on the walking trail in the park where people,
You guys get the idea that
Yeah.
it's interesting. Let's see what the actual presentation is. I'd really like to see where in town are they looking to do these? Because you got Strawberry Creek is Strawberry Ridge, we call it Strawberry Creek Nature Preserve.
Yeah.
There's a piece of property up there that the city acquired from a condemnation and we got that now. That's not deed restricted and that's still on top of that tall hill.
he's talking to us right now. He
Yeah.
may talk to someone else down the,
Well,
someone that has a big chunk of property.
Yeah.
And
well,
there'll be another example of someone else getting revenue and not us.
We're talking $1,200 a month an antenna. Come on, he's got to better his offer. $1,200, 14,400 a year? 1,200 an antenna? How much are they gonna make out of this?
You have to look and find out what the property is first. I mean, is it something?
It's not that, it's free money. You know,
Yeah.
it's not free money.
Oh, that's
You
it.
gotta see the
I don't know
advantage
if
that
it-
they're gonna get out of this, and Arnold's gotta get some advantages out of it too.
Well, that's up to staff to go chase that one down.
Yeah.
Is this the only company that does this?
I don't know the answer to that.
I mean, should we not get more people involved and am I saying that right?
I guess just for clarification, this,
This is-
so Billy, when it was under Arcadia, had initially started talking with David Bookless in the summer. And this is just, I've had ongoing conversations with Billy. And it, just due to the fall, this is when he's been able to talk with you all. But I haven't necessarily heard from any other similar developers that are willing to, kind of, they build the tower and then we get rent. I haven't had anyone else to reach out to me with a similar offer.
There's a whole bunch of parables out there, bird in the hand, things like that.
Yeah. And
Okay. Let staff prepare the report.
probably a game of Pac-Man too, if we just saw a little game of Pac-Man. He was with a company that is now a different company.
I got you.
They're gonna all end up being like that, so.
Interesting stuff. You guys have anything else?
No.
I got one for you.
Okay.
Would you like to tell them about this? Cause did you talk to these guys or is this a Terry thing?
It was a Terry thing, but
It was a Terry thing. I gave you guys all that flyer about Meet Santa.
Yeah.
This is an idea, if you want to spread it around in your Facebook pages or whatever it is. The post office, the postal service is asking for people to come down and give kids letters to Santa Claus directly, so have fun with that. I intend to go see it. So, I go see all these things. Okay.
This is their PR project for the Mytho. They have, I can speak a little bit to this personally. I know the gentleman that's over the region for all the post offices. His son played hockey for me and he's truly trying to change the image of the postal offices and that, and especially here in Arnold. So, I actually he texted me today and I asked him if, were you gonna be Santa in a truck and give out free stamps and we were having a joking conversation, right? But, he is, it looks gimmicky, sounds gimmicky, but they're trying to do different things to involve the community and improve their image, because it's not good, right? We
It's-
all know that.
It's a good start.
Yeah, see,
It is.
they're trying.
Right.
Well, why don't
I was gonna say, I'm in there
why don't
regularly.
the
then
event on a day when schools are out.
Looks good.
Out of school.
There is that. Okay. If that's all we got, guys. Chief, anybody got anything?
do not.
Well, tell them about last night for a minute, if you got a minute, we can.
Oh, our Shop with a Cop event.
Oh, that was so much fun.
Yeah, we had 151 kids that we helped out, so we had a great turnout and it was fun. Very rewarding experience, that's for sure.
I think the first responders that were down there had just as much fun as those kids, quite honestly. It was a hoot. Okay, hey, with that, I guess we're gonna close this work session. I thank you all for being here tonight.
All right. Hey, Sarah.